Lesson 6, Cursive, lowercase, T, L, H. As I've been going around and watching you all practice in your classrooms, I have noticed that you need to be stopping and watching while the instruction is going on the videos. Once I have given about 3 or 4 examples, then I'll say your turn, and then that's when it's your turn to go ahead and practice, and your teacher will pause the video and give you that opportunity. Then it happens all over again for the next letter. So please take great measures into watching first before you actually start practicing. Okay, let's begin with lowercase t. This is where we're going to begin at the baseline, and then we're going to go all the way up to the top line, okay? So this is the same as the slope that we've been doing from the baseline to the midline, but this time we're gonna actually go all the way up to the top line. So make sure you have your top line, midline, baseline, and the descending space. Beginning at the baseline, slope all the way up, straight up to the top line. Then you'll come right back down on that same line to the baseline with a little kick. Make sure the little kick looks a little bit differently than your beginning slope. So if we were to cover this, it kind of looks like a regular manuscript T. And then of course you go back and cross the T. Normally you don't go back and cross the T until after you've written the entire word. And we'll practice that in a little while. Baseline. Slope all the way up to the top line. Retrace and come straight back down. When you come down, come down, come down. And then have a little kick. And then you go and cross your T. Slope all the way up. Don't forget to touch the top line. Come all the way back down. Touch the baseline. And then you make your little kick and a bow tie. So if I were to cover this, it looks like it's just a regular T. That's why I've been emphasizing with the manuscript instructions to practice those little kicks. Your turn. Next letter will be the lowercase l in cursive. These next sets of letters, we're going to be going into the loopy family. So they're all going up to the top line this week and most of the letters next week. And so just pay attention and get real good. You'll get real good at making the loops. They're actually fun. So you begin at the baseline. We're going to go all the way up to the top line. Looks very much like the T, yes. Except this time we make a nice loop, and you're going to be, crossing right at the midline and coming straight down with a little kick. So you need to make sure that these two cross at the midline. Again, baseline, slope all the way up, backward loop, make it kind of tight so that you're going to be crossing at the midline, and then come straight down with a little kick. One more time. I think these are so fun. They kind of remind me of the lowercase e, but the lowercase e is below the midline. This one's reaching all the way up to the top line. Baseline, all the way up, left loop back, straight down with a little kick, making sure I'm crossing right there at the midline. Your turn. Next letter will be lowercase h, very much like the lowercase l. Here we go. Baseline, slope all the way up to the top line, make my tight loop to the left, cross right there at the midline, come straight down. Now once I hit the baseline, I'm going to reverse and go straight up and tuck my hump up in there and then come straight back down with a kick. Make sure that this line and this line are parallel, that all three of these lines and the hump, that's 1, 2, 3, are all crossing and tucked inside there. There's your lowercase h. Gosh, cursive is so fun to me. It's so beautiful. Okay, straight up, back loop, make it tight, straight back down, straight back up, keep that hump inside there, and then come straight back down with a little kick. Next, baseline, one more example, all the way up, make it tight, straight back up, hump over with a little kick. Now you're going to have a larger space right there in front, and then the kick is a tight little kick. Your turn. Now we'll practice a few words using the letters that we've just learned, along with some other letters that we've learned previously, of course. So the first word is going to be exit. E-X-I-T. Now here we're going to make the E, and you're going to see how very similar it is to the L, but it's below the midline. Baseline. Here's my E, up to the midline, left loop, straight down. Now I'm going to go into my X. The X, remember, is a mountain on one side, and the exact same side on the other side is a mountain as well. We come down with a little kick. Now in a little while I'm going to come back and make my crossing for the X. But for right now, since I'm already in on the road to be writing, I need to just continue with this and not lift up. So then I go into my I, but I'm certainly going to remember I have to come back and do that. What do I have to remember with my I? Is that I'm going to have to come back and dot it. Here we go. I'm going to go into my T, straight up, straight back down with a little kick. Now that does not look like exit, so we've got to go back. Go back, don't start from the end of the word and go backwards. Go back to the very beginning, decide what you need to fix and do or finish. So here, I need to cross my X. Then the next one I need to work on is the I, dot my I. And then the last part of the word is the T. So it's better organization if you go all the way back to the very beginning of the word and then work your way back if you need to go back and finish anything. Here we go. Ghost O, here I go with my E. Be sure you are watching. Stop everything and watch the instruction. It will be your turn once I say your turn. Now if I want to make a tighter hump right there, I certainly can. A tighter little X and the mountain on each side. Then I'm going to go straight up to my I. Don't forget the rounded parts down here. When you are making your connections, connect into my T, straight back down with a kick. Go back to the beginning and fix whatever I needed to fix. And your turn. Next word we will practice will be mushy. I did want to go back and have you notice this word looks like it's a little bit more longer than this word is, and look at what the difference is. The difference is that I made a tighter X right here, and this one I extended it a little bit more. So as you're writing, try to get skinnier and more narrow, the better you get. Here, let's go on to mushy. Mushy. That's M-U-S-H-Y. Beginning at the baseline. Try to get a little bit closer. There we go. Baseline. Hump over once. Hump over twice. Remember in cursive, the M gets 3 humps. Come straight down to the baseline. Then I'm going to go into my U, straight up U-turn. Now let's go into the S, up to the midline. Then I'm going to make it pointy right there and have a belly in front. Scoop back around, retrace. Now I'm going into my H, which is a tall letter. Straight up, come back up, and here I'm going to go into my Y. And there's a U-turn right there, but then I come down below, make my left hook, and end my word. I know I don't have enough room, so I'm going to go to the next line. Here we go, beginning with the M. Hump over once, hump over twice. I'm going to try to write mine a little bit skinnier this time. Each time I'm going to try to write skinnier and skinnier. U-turn, make it skinny. Here's my S. Skinny. Go up to the top line. Come all the way straight back down. Tuck in my hump for the H. Now I'm going to go straight directly into my Y. Down below, forward loop, and crossing. Your turn. Ooh, it does look shorter than this word over here. Doing well. Your turn. Our next word to practice will be long. Actually, let's write longer. Let's extend it a little bit. Here we go, the bass line. Going all the way up to the top line for my L. Here we come down, L. Straight down, then I'm going to go directly into my O, over and around, reverse. Here is my high connector. Pretending that I started from down here below, I'm just going to keep on going, make my hump for my N. The N gets 2 humps, so make sure you can see the 2 humps, even if it doesn't begin down here at the bass line. Then I'm going to go directly into my G, reverse, come back, close, down below, left loop, crossing at the bass line. Now here we go into an E. I need to scoop over so I have room for my loop. And now I'm going to go into an R and a little half smile, tuck it in, and come on down. Gosh, this looks so pretty, don't you think? I just love cursive so much. Okay, here we go to the next line. Longer. Now this time I'm just going to be mostly writing and concentrating. Please be watching how I'm going into each and every letter and trying to remember as I'm going, writing the letter all the way through to remember all of the humps that need to reach up to the midline and the top line, so on. Here we go. All the way up. Here we go. L. Make my letters skinnier. Dip down, go into my N. Good. Here's my G. Straight up. Forward loop, crossing there. Scoop over for my E. R. Half smile. Tuck it in. There we go. It's about just as long. We did it equally as best as we could. Your turn. Our last word for this week, actually, as I was going over classes and notebooks last week, I did notice quite a few students having some difficulty writing the Q in cursive still. So I thought, what better word than to write the word quite? Since quite a lot of you are still having difficulty with it. Let's practice it, because that's the way we get better. Beginning at the bass line, and this is going to be Q-U-I-T-E, quite. So beginning at the bass line, remember, this time we slope all the way up. Reverse, come over and around, straight up. Many students are doing very well with that, but it's this straight back down into the descending space, and then a backward loop that's on the right side to the bass line. So this is where they're having difficulty, as I see. Then we go into the U, straight up, U-turn. Here's my I. I'll worry about it later. later, finishing it later. I'm going into my T, come straight back down, and then I'm going to go into my E. I have to scoop over so I make room for my loop. And then I end it, go back to the beginning. Oh, here's my I, and here's my T. Dot your I's and cross your T's. Oh, got too close there. And a little bit difficult with the, I need to get a newer marker, I think. Here we go again with quite. Backward. U-turn. Straight up. Straight up all the way to the top line. Come all the way back down. And now I go back and finish my word. Dot my, oh, I forgot the E. Very good. And cross my T. Now go back and take a look at all of your work. Make sure they're all touching the guidelines. They're all the correct size that they're supposed to be. The ones that are reaching up to the top line are actually touching the top line. The ones that are down below are going into the descending space, that you have dotted all of your I's, crossed all your T's. Everything looks great. So continue working. Next week we'll have 3 more lowercase cursive letters to be writing, and then from then on we'll begin our capital letters, and that's where we'll start writing actual longer sentences. All right, so I believe this next holiday, our holiday is coming up, so everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving, and I shall see all your work when we get back. And be sure and eat a lot of turkey and practice those letters whenever you get a chance.